Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renish, a senior executive of Tensors. We are a non-profit organization based in IIT Madras, committed to tackle the problems in our society, especially the JE community. So today we have our speaker Haripriya Palla, a final year undergraduate in naval architecture and ocean engineering. She is currently preparing for her master's. So now to talk more on naval architecture and its opportunities, I'll be handing over to Haripriya.
Yeah, so first of all, congratulations for making through JE Advanced. So basically, in naval architecture, we deal with designing ships and studying about the offshore structures. We also, like in your first year itself, you'll be knowing about different types of ships, they uses, and you will learn about the basics. Like you'll understand about stability, the hydrostatic properties, and so on. And as you grow from second year to third year and then finally and then to the final year, you'll have complete clarity about what happens in offshore industry, the shipping industry. So by then you'll be able to, okay, for placements and all, I'll go to the end. So if you choose naval architecture, you'll be basically studying about ships. Okay. Uh, yeah. So, and in your first year, you'll also have uh, uh, other courses like applied mechanics and all, which are important when it comes to your department courses. And apart from that, coming to faculty, they are very experienced in research and all, and they have really good experience. So it will be of great help for you if you do some research work under them. And if you are interested in taking up this field for your as your complete career, then it would be great if you work as a research assistant or something when once you come to institute. And apart from that, yeah, so if at all you decide to switch paths, like if you don't want to take up naval architecture as your career, you can still get a different uh, get a different job in placements by preparing, of course, for the non-core part. Like you can simultaneously learn coding and all. But if you decide for core, it is beneficial if you go for higher studies as well, because BTech is just the basic part. But getting a master's is really important if you're planning for a career in core.
Okay, Haripriya, can you just talk more about the coursework and like detailed structure on like 4 years? Many people have a confusion whether in architecture you should be good at drawing and all.
Yeah, so you'll be learning it on the go. So it's not like you should be a very good artist before joining. You can learn it. Like you'll be using French curves and all in your drawing classes. You'll be designing ship and its views. You'll be getting a full clarity about it once you start doing the drawing course, which we have in your second year. You'll be having it. So yeah, you need not learn drawing as of now. You can learn it once the course starts. Like they'll teach you. You just have to plot the points and connect them using French curves. It'll be easy. Nothing to worry about.
And also, could you talk about ocean engineering and naval architecture? Both are two different branches.
Yeah.
So, like, how do we?
So ocean engineering, it basically deals with the offshore side, like in the ocean, and it also has a coastal part of it. But in naval architecture, you'll be mostly designing, and the architectural side of structures is what you do in naval architecture. Apart from that, it's a very vast topic. So yeah, you'll get a lot of exposure, and then you can decide like which part of it. Like it has many domains in it, and then you can decide while taking up courses and all as electives, you can know more about different parts of naval architecture and ocean engineering, like designing of offshore structures or trying to understand the structural dynamics of structures. You can choose them, or you can also go for the architectural part by learning about hydrodynamics and hydrostatics of naval architecture.
Okay, and could you just brief us about what all type of companies usually comes for our placements, core companies, and
Okay, so for core, not many. IRS comes generally, and we should see like most of the times IRS comes. And apart from that, off-campus opportunities are more compared to campus placements. Off-campus, you can apply for Navy, or Cochin Shipyard has also started recruiting us. So, and like this year, Kochi Shipyard has also like they have given a brochure. So, but they're not coming for placements on campus. Um, but I would suggest if you're planning for a job in core field, it's better if you go for a master's because that will give you more exposure and you'll learn if that is something that you want to do or not. You'll get to know by the end of BTech. So then you can decide if you want to get into masters or not.
okay, so can you just tell about the type of colleges, like what all colleges are available for masters, the best colleges we have?
Yeah, so we have NTNU, we have TU Delft, and there are many. We also have Texas A&M, and there are many. Like it depends again if you are into the naval architecture side or the ocean engineering part. Like in ocean engineering, also we have offshore and coastal. So yeah, once you start studying, you'll get to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other questions are like, one question asked is, can I join naval architecture and OC just to change branch to mech or aero? So there are confusions like that.
So I'm
It's
not
only
sure.
really
Like
confusing.
it depends. Like last year, I remember they have removed the policy of branch change, right? So this year, I'm
Yes.
not sure. Um,
So as long as it is online classes, I think IIT Madras would choose not to have branch change option because their first year is very short compared to what we had in offline. So most probably they won't be having a branch change option this year also. But could you shed a light on if a student wants to go into non-core related field like IT or consulting, the opportunities, like whether from do students go from NAVAC to in coding industry and all, like programming software developer, etc.
yeah. So if you are into non-core and if you like first year, you can just chill and learn about everything that's happening in Insti. Once you get the clarity of whether you want to pursue core or non-core, and if you decide for non-core, you should start with coding. And apart from coding, you also have finance related profiles coming for placements. And apart from finance, we also have a consultant. And for consultant, it's like once you start studying, you'll get to know that you have to do case studies, you have to participate in more case study competitions and all. And coming to finance, and you can take finance related free electives and prepare accordingly. And for any of the non-code placements, it's beneficial if you learn coding. And in fact, you should learn coding for sure, no matter which field you're going into. It'll always be beneficial. And coming to placement opportunities for non-core, they're abundant. So nothing to worry that just because you're in naval architecture and your rank is on JE is high and you're just getting this department and you're taking this, but you are into non-core, you want to do something else other than naval architecture or ocean engineering, you still have opportunities. Just be optimistic, and if you work hard, you'll definitely get into your dream job.
Okay, yeah. And many companies like Microsoft and all is very open to all the departments. So if
Yeah.
you are really confident in your coding programming skills, you could definitely apply. There is no restriction. So those are the advantages of being in IIT Madras. And okay, so can we get good placements for the non-core electives we take in third year and fourth year? So I think it's the same. I think we have already covered it.
Yeah.
So could you elaborate more on electives in IIT Madras? Like,
Okay, so we have both free electives and professional electives. In professional electives, you'll be choosing courses from the parent department. Like from which department you are, that department you have to take courses. And you also have free electives you can take up from any other department and those will also be credited. So, and you can take those free electives based on your interest. If you are into coding, you can take some computer science electives and so on. And when it comes to professional electives, you should take from your department.
mhm. Okay, another question is which dual degree makes sense along with naval arc course? I think he's referring to IDD, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, so you once of if you are getting a dual degree instead of BTech in naval architecture, then yeah, you'll be doing MTech also. So basically, your courses will be covered by the end of fourth year, and mostly you'll be having one or two courses and your dual degree project work in your final year. That is your fifth year. But you can also convert into interdisciplinary dual degree, where you have many options like Tech MBA, which is a technical MBA program, is also there. Apart from that, we have energy systems, data science, robotics, in which you'll be getting your interdisciplinary dual degree. That is your MTech degree you'll be getting there. But your BTech is going to be in NAVAC, like, or the other department that you'll be getting.
Okay. So I guess like, the audience could ask any department-related questions apart from the comparison questions, because I think it is up to an individual, and we really don't know which department is best for us. Like we can't just look at the placement statistics or the things, just numbers, and go for a department. Maybe like many of us would actually prefer a core instead of non-core. So I would ask you guys to refrain from asking comparison questions, if at all. You could ask more questions regarding the branch, if it's possible. Okay, so at which companies did BTech Naval Arc students get placed last year? And how many free electives and professional electives are there? So these are the questions.
Yeah. Okay, so most of the students get placed, like except few, most of them get placed, and others go for masters or UPSC. It depends on your interest. But nothing to worry that just because you're in NAVAC, you will not get your dream job in non-core. Suppose you are inclined in finance or consultant, but you are in naval architecture now, and you're doing your BTech here. But still, you can go for a consultant or finance, because I've seen people who are interested in that field. So you'll walk towards it, but you'll keep your coursework going on, so that once you're if suppose let me give an example. Suppose you're into consultancy, you'll be participating in many case study competitions, and if you like, also there are many clubs in IIT Madras where you can learn more about consultancy. And if you're really into consultant and work towards it, yeah, the opportunities are going to be abundant in placement. So nothing to worry that non-core and in NAVAC you won't be able to go. You can.
Okay, and about free electives and professional electives. So I guess most people would want to plan their free electives in early. So
okay, so right now you no need to worry that how many free electives and professional electives are there. Like once you start studying and then you get to know, you'll be able to understand like what free electives you will be inclined towards and what professional electives you can take. Coming to free electives, you can take from any department. So if you are interested in coding, you can go for CS electives. If you are interested in economics, you can take HS electives. It's totally up to you. So nothing to worry about electives. Like once you start your studies in IIT Madras, you'll know.
okay, after BTech, how good are opportunities to pursue MS abroad?
So the opportunities are really good. Like if you keep your CGPA good, and if you give your if you get a good IELTS score or TOEFL, it depends on university that you apply. Then you can just get into your master's program as well. And it's better if you do some research work when you're on campus, so that you will be able to write about it in your master's application and all. But yeah, even if you won't do much research and you just do one or two projects also, it will be enough.
Yeah, and apart from the research work and all, the main advantage is you'll get good letter of recommendation from IIT Madras, who are very highly reputed professors globally. So there's an advantage of getting the letter of recommendation, which is very important when you're going for masters abroad. And yeah, I read in Quora that Navy do recruit people. How do they do it? Will they come to campus or we should apply just with our degree?
They used to come for on-campus placements, but now they are not coming. I'm not sure of the reason. So yeah, you can apply still off-campus. Like this month or last month, I guess they have released the recruitment application and all. So you'll be applying on Navy website itself, and you'll be giving an exam and all. After that, there'll be interview. That's it.
Okay, and how many seats are there in NAVAC in IITM? Like, what is it?
I'm not sure of the number exactly. Like now they could have changed the number, right? So I'm not sure.
I guess they tried to increase it around 10% last year. So during our year, it was around 60 to 70 students. And maybe they might have pushed it towards 80. Not really sure. And yeah, there's another question. Is dual degree better than 4-year BTech?
So it's totally up to you. If you want to do just a BTech degree, you can do that. In a dual degree, see, suppose if you take up a dual degree and you after your fourth year you feel like you don't want to pursue your MTech also in the same field, there is this disadvantage that you have to do the MTech for sure. You can't drop it after that. You have to complete your dual degree. But if you take BTech, then yeah, you have a choice over there that you can do MTech either here in NAVAC or like you can convert to DD in your third year end. You can convert to DD. But if you get a DD seat, you can't just come to back to BTech. So there's this one point that you have to keep in your mind while putting the options.
And yeah, so another question is, after taking naval architecture, do we have enough time to develop skills in CS to compete
Yeah.
with computer science guys?
Yeah, you can always make time and learn things that you want. Like in your first year, you'll be having a lot of things happening. You'll be having your CS courses. First semester itself, you'll be having C programming. So, and apart from that, you'll have applied mechanics and basic ship course one. And apart from that, yeah, you'll be having also a GN course, I guess. Yeah. So in your first year itself, you'll start learning coding. If you want to pursue it further, yeah, you can take up more free electives and you can always make time and learn. You'll be having lots of time. It
Yeah,
totally depends on your management too.
yeah, because our analytics club head is handled by a NAVAC. And last year, computer science club head was also handled by a NAVAC student. And yeah, so and even the C5 team Abhiyan, there are different competitive teams in IIT Madras. Even in that, the software module head is also an AVAC student. So don't worry about the opportunities if you're planning for CS because there's a lot of opportunities. There are many
Yeah, one thing I want to add here, like don't think that just because you're in NAVAC, you won't know any coding and all. Yeah, you'll be learning different softwares here. Suppose in your second year and all, you'll be learning MATLAB, where you have to do your assignments on MATLAB. MATLAB is another programming software. So, and apart from that, it depends upon your course. Each course, if the course content requires, you'll be learning a software to complete your assignments and do a project work. It depends again on the course. Okay, so you'll be learning softwares though you're in NAVAC, and your coding skills they improve too. Just because you're in naval architecture and ocean engineering, don't think that you'll be only designing ships and doing some math calculations. You'll also be using, suppose, AutoCAD and all to design the 3D modules, and you'll also learn PropCAD where you can design propeller. Again, it depends upon your interest and the course that you take as an elective. If it is compulsory course, mostly you will be having only MATLAB and not any other software. But if you take some professional elective which involves software, you'll be also learning that.
Yeah. What options will I have if I don't like coding? So
yeah, see, if you don't like coding, there are many options still in core, but coding is not that bad. It's very basic and you can always learn it. It depends upon your interest. If you're not into coding, you can still take up some other finance roles and all, but most of them will require at least basic coding. Like literally very basic level of coding is important when it comes to non-core placements.
Any more doubts, you guys can ask in the chat. Otherwise, we can wind up the session. Okay, so there's a question like, what do you mean by finance roles? Do we have to take finance subjects?
No. See, in placements, you'll be having banking sector coming too, like Axis Bank comes and JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they come. So, but they have roles which are analytics and software related, but they are finance related only, we call them. But analytics and all, they require your basic coding skills. And apart from that, you'll be having other roles like a consultant, which again doesn't need much coding. You'll be needing your analytical skills again over there.
Yeah, and the questions will be more in the level of an aptitude test rather than coding based. So for if you look at JP Morgan test, they will have two sessions. One will be an aptitude assessment test, and the next will be a basic coding test, which will have two questions. You'll have to solve the two coding. So more they'll be focusing on your probab skills, and yeah, it is more like if you compare to BitSats, it is more of that level. The questions will be of that level, the quantitative questions. So that's where you'll have to focus more on if you're planning for finance or analytics company. Okay, so please explain more about the syllabus of naval architecture.
Okay, so in your first year, you'll be having your basic course in which you'll be learning about different ship parts and types of ships, like fishing vessels and all. You'll be learning their parts and all. Okay, and apart from that, in your first in that course itself, there's another module which deals with the ocean engineering part. You'll be learning about semi-submersibles, just the basics: semi-submersibles, jackets, monopiles, which are the base structures which are used in the offshore industry. Okay, you'll be learning about them in your first year. In second year, you'll be having your hydrostatics courses, and in your third year, you'll be having maneuvering courses and ship stability also you'll be having. And in your fourth year, it's mostly electives. You'll be having also vibration and design of offshore structures courses in your third year, where you'll be learning about you'll be having codes and all, where you have to see the formulas and design for a given problem. You'll be learning it once you once you get into NAVAC, you'll be learning them.
Okay, another thing is there any preparatory work that one should do in a home before start attending the class?
Okay, preparatory, I would just suggest you to go start with C programming, because that's the course that you'll be having in your first sem itself. Apart from that, for NAVAC, any preparation is needed? I would say no. Everything you'll be learning once you start.
So that's it, and thank you, Haripriya, for coming
Thank
and
you.
shedding light on naval architecture and ocean engineering. So that's it. Thank you for coming by. Thank you.